Many people, myself included, are programmed into always growing, always desiring more, always having more, always seeking more. And in contrast to that, it's very uncomfortable when things become stagnant. Other words for that are stable or su- sustained, where the same thing is repeating over and over without radical growth. Mostly it just looks the same. I know I have been very uncomfortable with this idea. I know many people I work with are very uncomfortable with this idea. In some way or the other, we want to keep growing, 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 growing. And we want that growth to be exponential, not just linear and static. I know that's been my attitude. I have a tendency to get bored when things are just the same. And yet, in several areas of my life, I have learned to experience contentment where it's enough. What I have is enough, and I don't need more. And what seems to be coming through for me for perhaps the next stage of my life is to make this my state across all domains, if not most domains, where it's just truly appreciating that I have enough, and it's just to keep this level going. There's no need to level up, expand, grow, just to hold this level, be at this level, love this level for an extended period of time, a very extended period of time. And it's actually something that's really exciting for me because it feels very different and it feels like the right time to do something like that. I feel like I've experienced infinite expansion over the last 11 years, if not throughout my life. But especially since I've been on my spiritual journey, it's been so much expansion constantly, some way or the other, evolving, expanding, transforming, constant change. And it really feels like I'm very happy with where I am in life now. And it feels like it's time to be here, stabilize here, and enjoy this, be this, live this moment to moment as this again and again, and love it so much. I mean, I do love it so much that I can imagine experiencing this over and over because the love is in every moment for what is. And the world will keep changing, life will keep changing. I don't need to keep changing. I can become the constant, I can become that which remains same while life keeps changing instead of always keep changing and life keeps changing and everything is changing. I feel it's time to experience being the stillness, the eye of the storm. It's something I have experienced in short periods, but there was always this uneasiness that would come in after some time, wanting to move, wanting to shake things up in a big way after a period of a plateau. So the way I used to talk about it, and I still teach it because I think for many people it's still very valid that especially when we are going on the exponential path, I do believe it's important to have a big expansion reach a level and stabilize at that plateau, at that, make that the new foundation, and then go into the next phase of expansion. And that foundation, that plateau, need I mean, it can be as long as you want it to be, but the way I used to experience it personally, and the way many people I work with experience it, is that that plateau doesn't last very long before the next expansion comes, because there's a capacity to keep expanding. The foundation is built rather quickly. There is a sense of solidity, there's a sense of groundedness and stability, and it's time to grow more and go to the next level, and the next level, and the next level. And at each level, stabilizing, but not spending a lot of time at that level. And when I say not a lot of time, it could be a few months, 6 months. That that would already be a long time. And for me, what feels like what's coming now is truly a very extended period, years and years of living at this level and truly enjoying this level and loving this level and accepting that I am happy. There is no need to level up, to evolve beyond this. And there will come a time when this era, it's not just a phase anymore, but this era, this identity, it's time to move on. My last one, I would say, was when I was working at a retreat center for 8 years. That was an era of my life where there was a lot of change, but there was something that was very solid, very constant in those 8 years. And since leaving that, everything has been in flux, everything has been changing for the last 2.5 years. And that was great. It was great to have a lot of movement, a lot of evolution and growth and transformation over the last 2.5 years. And I feel like it's time to stabilize again, create a new identity, create a new structure, create something that is very solid again for a long period of time, 7, 8, 10, 15, 25 years, who knows. And then when the time comes, I will know that it's time to disrupt that and move on to the next thing. So I'm excited now to create something that slows down life completely, takes the speed of life to a completely different level, where earlier it was fast, very fast, lot of change, constant change, and now it's stability, slow, creating things that are more grounded, more in the physical, not just moving at the speed of emotions and thoughts and light, but actually moving at the speed of the physical realm, which is much slower. And this, relatively speaking, this feels like a contraction as compared to an expansion, which is constantly growing, growing, growing. This is, it's not necessarily contracting, it's plateauing, it's sustaining, it's having this foundation at the same level, but relatively speaking, it still does feel like a contraction where things are slowing down, where things are becoming more compact, more contained. And yeah, I am excited for this. And I'm curious if you resonate with this, if you, what stage of your life are you in? Have you been in a plateau for a long time and it's time for disruption, it's time for a lot of expansion and change? Or is it the opposite, where you have been changing a lot and now it's time to slow down and it's time to anchor, it's time to build foundations, build structures, build roots, which I know for many people is very uncomfortable, especially if you have felt suffocated by structures in the past, if you have felt suffocated by authority, the toxic masculine. It's a lot of people adopt this identity of becoming travelers, wanderers, digital nomads, not wanting to settle down. And a lot of people make these declarations of I will never settle down again. I'm going to be roaming around for life. But that too becomes a trap, because I truly feel that there is a phase, some for some very, very, very few people, that may be a lifestyle for their whole life. But I do feel that for most people it's just a phase, and it's an important phase, and it can last a few years. But the time comes to settle again, and settling again is not the same as settling as it was before. It comes with all the wisdom that you've got from the flux in between. The way you will settle in the next phase will be very different from anything before. And keeping that in mind, allowing there to be as much flexibility and freedom as you want, but really wanting to experience this groundedness, this stability, the structure, because in that a whole different kind of freedom appears that cannot be found when you're in this hippie kind of freedom. There is that kind of freedom which has no structures, no limits, no boundaries, and you just do whatever you want, and you're kind of floating and drifting through life and the world. But there's a completely different level of freedom, which I think is a much higher freedom that comes within structures. When structures are supportive, when the structures are conducive to creativity, when the structures are conducive to fulfillment, that's the only way I can explain it right now. I don't want to go too deep into that right now, but I have experienced this, that infinity can be found in a box, and that infinity is a lot more powerful than infinity that is without any boundaries, without any structure, because then it has no purpose, it has no uh, it's the duality that gives it meaning, that gives it purpose, that gives us fulfillment. And even my capoeira teacher, I had trained capoeira for, which is the Brazilian dance martial arts. I trained in capoeira for 1.5 years, and my capoeira teacher was explaining that there are many capoeira moves, but how many ever moves there is a limit. Finally, let's make up a number. Let's say there are 60 different moves that you can do, but the combinations with those moves are truly infinite, because it's so alive. It's so in the dance with the other person. What they do, how you respond. There's so many different responses. What you do after that, how it flows. It's truly an infinite dance. That even with those 60, 80, 100, let's even if there were 500 moves, it's still limited. We're just doing the same moves again and again and again. But it doesn't get boring. It doesn't get repetitive. It's so alive. It's so dynamic. There's so much freedom in the structure within those limits. There are rules. There are guidelines so that you don't injure yourself, so that you don't injure others, so that it is a beautiful dance form, and at the same time you're learning how to protect yourself, you're learning how to attack in case you need self-defense in a real world situation. There's so many things that you're learning within the limits, within the structure, and there's complete fluidity, complete flexibility. And this is so true for life. I have experienced life this way. I used to be so rebellious against structures. I wanted this anarchist kind of freedom where no one will tell me what to do. I'm a rebel. I will do what I want, breaking all the rules. And I found it to be extremely limiting because once all the rules are broken, then what? What do I actually want to do? It all becomes empty, it all becomes meaningless. It's within the confines of structure that meaning appears. And there's infinite possibilities within within structures. And there's so many different types of structures, and the structures can keep evolving and transforming. And truly, for me, this is what it means: infinity in a box. And this is one of my favorite teachings. It's one of my most potent teachings, and it's one that I live by as much as I can. And especially in this next phase of my life, this is my aim: is to have a very well defined, constrained box, lots of limits I'm going to be imposing, and to truly find the love for life within that. Not get not get but to transcend the feeling of suffocation, to transcend the need to keep changing, to keep evolving, this uneasiness, this nervousness that comes, that wants to shake things up, to move beyond that. I already feel like I've moved beyond that quite a lot, but I'm excited to go way beyond and find a much deeper peace and freedom within this structure that I'm creating. So that's what I have been playing with. That's what I've been working on. That's what I'm looking forward to. I would love to hear your comments. You can also send me a message. You can give it a like if you like this, and share it with someone if you want. And I will see you tomorrow for day 61. Today is day 60 of my 64-day journey. Just 4 more days to go. I'll see you tomorrow for day 61. Thank you.